Well, adventurers, AI or artificial intelligence is a big kind of hot button issue at this moment in time, like it depends on whether or not people are pro for it or con for it. And so I decided to make a video on where I stand when it comes to AI. So let's get into this. So yes, it is I, Nathaniel Gomezian, shopkeeper and proprietor of Gaming Church. As I said, today's video is all about artificial intelligence and where I stand on it. And I've basically decided to make this video because I was talking with another dungeon tuber, Rich at Renegade Rolls. I will link their channel down below. I should definitely think you should check it out. He has a lot of amazing content. I feel like he's massively underappreciated, so please check his channel out. But anyway, we were talking regarding AI because I did used to use AI for my thumbnails. In fact, I will put them up on the screen. This is like how my thumbnails used to look. And I will say that it came from probably a point of laziness when it came to my point, if I'm gonna be completely honest, because when I started the channel, it was having the time to just try and put the videos together, try and edit them. I didn't have time to really think about the thumbnails and whatnot like that. And at the time, some of my friends were really getting into AI images and such like that. And I thought nothing of it. And I kind of was like, okay, right, let's just make AI images to put on there because it's going to be nice and easy and it's going to probably look better than anything I can create myself. So let's go for it. And even I can say, looking back on them, some of them looked terrible, and I will say that it took a number of prompts in order to actually get to the results that I even got to. And basically I realized now that I do actually want to apologize for what I've done. I'm showing it on the screen now because I said, I don't want to hide away from my mistakes in the past, and basically I don't want to be accused of being a hypocrite or whatnot like that. And I now realize how terrible that was for numerous of different reasons. I will say that it is my own mistake. Which it was ill-educated in the subject of it. I just thought oh, this works this way. Oh, look how quick this is. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't actually think about what was happening and what it was causing. So it was an ignorance on my part. And so I do want to apologize for that. I have now since gone back and changed all of my AI thumbnails to thumbnails that I've designed and put on myself. So I've tried to repair the stupidity of my past and gone back and I've learnt from these things. But I also have another point of view when it comes to AI that I think some people don't really seem to talk about, and I think it's really important because obviously AI, people talk about AI dungeon masters and such running games, people using AI to come up with scenarios and whatnot in their game, to come up with NPC backstories, to come up with all of these different things. You get some dungeon masters deciding to do that, because I have seen on different bits of the internet people who say that they use it and such like that. Not many people, but there are people out there who do, and I guess that there are dungeon masters do, as well as the fact that WotC itself has said that they want to go down a kind of AI dungeon master kind of route, so to make it more accessible to everyone else, because dungeon masters are the most hardest part to find of this game, and so they want to basically make AI dungeon masters so they can control every aspect of it. And the thing of it is that I feel like people won't accept that. Some people might, but I feel like the vast majority, especially people who have played for a very long time, won't accept it for a multitude of different reasons. Mostly the AI does start to hallucinate and actually probably won't keep the rules set 100%. It will come up with things that completely don't work with the game mechanically and such like that. So that's also something which makes it a little bit useless, and you have to make continuous prompts to get specifically what you want, which yet again is wasting more water, blah, 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 blah. And of course, the other thing when it comes to AI dungeon masters is the fact that when you're around the table, it's with friends, it's with human beings all being collaborative and whatnot together. I don't think that a machine can quite get the timing, especially with the fun aspect of it, the funny things that you add in, that it's a reference to somebody that everyone gets around the table and causes laughter and stuff like that. I don't think that machines can do that, or the fact that knowing when to play things a certain way or lean into something. I don't think that machines have got the ability to be able to do that as amazingly as humans can do. And obviously the main thing that I think is that even if you had it having a really human voice when talking to you, I know that I'm going to go a little bit probably over the top on a robotic voice, but if the AI dungeon master ever went to me, ha ha ha, that is a good one, that would take me completely out of the moment in terms of even it laughing and trying to be part of it. I would instantly know that's a machine, like it is trying to emulate joy and laughter, and that would take me out of it because I know it wouldn't be sincere. And so that's another part of it why I could never see myself accepting a AI dungeon master, in terms of the fact that I just know that the sincerity and its ability to be able to adapt, I don't think would be as good as a human. Having played with and been a DM for several years, I just feel like, it just wouldn't feel right. But one of the most crucial things that I don't think that anyone is talking about is the people who are doing this, you are losing that ability of letting your brain do these kind of things, because there is also a study which has proven that AI is making us dumber. And I will link that down below as well, because let's face it, if we are offloading our thinking to the machine, then we no longer have to do that ourselves. And so those parts of our brain which do all that creative thinking, do all that kind of thing, we are not exercising them. And if you don't exercise them, they will become useless. And that's the kind of thing as well that I think people don't talk about, and it is very important. Because let's go through a very simple example. When I was growing up as a kid, I always used to know my home phone number, which was like a 01268 772087. That number is meaningless now because my parents have moved house multiple times and even moved out of the region that code was for. But I had to remember that, and it was like lodged into my brain that if I was at a friend's house, to call that number if I needed to tell my parents, oh, I'm going to stay longer, sleep over, I'm on my way home, whatever. If there was a payphone, which obviously payphones, there's not as many of them anymore, but calling my parents to say where I was and such like that. I had to have that number ingrained into my brain so that I knew that's what I call if I'm in trouble or if I need to let my parents know something, blah, 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 blah. Since getting a mobile phone, I don't know my parents' numbers. In terms of each of my parents have obviously got mobile numbers. I don't know them off by heart. I don't know my wife's mobile number off by heart. I don't even know my own mobile number off by heart. I know the numbers which are basically in it in a rough order, because let's face it, when you're giving your mobile number out to people, that's what's made you have to remember it a little bit. So I do kind of know the basics of my mobile number, but to get it 100%, I'm not guaranteed I will get 100% accurate. And so I've offloaded those numbers and the memory of having to remember those numbers to my phone. And that's kind of destroyed a part of my brain that did used to know those kind of things. Because not only did I used to know my own home number, I used to know some of my friends' home numbers as well. So I just knew that information on my head. I had the memorization skills to do that. I have lost that now in terms of when it comes to numbers for phones and such like that. So imagine that, but for your creative thinking processes. The fact that you go to AI to be oh, what should I do for this? What kind of encounter should I do? What NPC backstory should I do? And letting it feed you its decisions and that when it comes to that, you're not doing that yourself. And so you're losing that aspect of your own creativity. And I feel people don't talk about this enough, and it is ruining us. And then we'll come to a point that if we all did that, then there would only be AI dungeon masters, because nobody would have the skills to be able to do that anymore, apart from the really wizened old dungeon masters who didn't adapt technology and whatnot. So they are the true masters, big bearded gentlemen that know these things. And so that's very important. I feel like it's less discussed and such like that. Obviously all the environmental things are discussed, all the stealing things are discussed, but less so about our own creativity and the machine kind of stealing our ability to think for ourselves. Because if we do all of the thinking going through the machines, and that's not just for dungeon mastering, I mean there are people who go, oh, what picture frame will look best on this wall? What blah, letting the AI make all these decisions for them. You're thinking, you're stopping your ability to think yourself. And so, to quote Descartes, I think, therefore I am. And that quote really comes to the crux of the situation. If we are offloading our thinking to something else, who are we as humans? Are we who we think we are? If we're not actually doing the thinking ourselves and just letting a machine decide everything for us, who are we? Why are we here? What's the purpose? And I feel like that's something which is to the human condition, very scary, the fact that some people really want to lean into that and not think about who they are as people and as we are as humanity and such like that. And so that's why I'm against AI. And I said, like, so I massively con AI. I know that obviously it's a thing in the world and that all of these people are probably going to try to force it onto us. Let's face it, like, Google's already forcing its AI onto us in terms of when you search something up, then it would come with a whole AI prompt about, like, trying to help you find this information and such like that. It is massively more getting integrated into our lives. And I will say that I've not got a problem with AI when it comes to, like, discovering cures, because they'd be like, oh, you don't care about discovering cures for blah, 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 blah. I've got no problem with it doing those kind of things, the complex computations when it comes to, like, molecules and that, and it being able to find the different things that will react with it in order to be able to, like, save people's lives and such. That aspect of things I've got no problem with in terms of, like, if it can help humanity in that way. But in terms of the way that people are using it in terms of creativity, it is cheapening the creativity, because to do these things, to draw as magnificently as some people draw design-wise and such like that, or to write the way that some people write in terms of, like, it's taken years of development for them to be able to gain these skills, like, basically, as I said, drawing or writing or whatever creativity-wise, like, even filmmaking, because I know that obviously there's some AI things which are starting to go into, like, making moving image and such like that. Like, the time and energy of humanity that they have put into doing these things, and that they should get paid well for them, because they have proven themselves to be magnificent within that. It has taken time and dedication for them to get as good as they've got. So why are we cheapening that by being, well, AI can do it faster than you and whatnot like that, and like, it looks okay, so screw it, I'm just going to do that, rather than, like, paying somebody to be able to do something. That's why, like, the latest kind of items and that I did, I paid an artist to do. There is another project which I've currently got where I've paid an artist in order to design a couple of things for me. There is channel stuff whereby I've got an artist designing these things for me. Even the logo and such for this channel was designed by an artist who I paid, because that should be valued in some way. And, like, the fact that we are trying to cheapen it with this kind of quick technology thing, I feel is terrible. I have linked down below different things when it comes to the water consumption, to, like, the chips, how long they last and such like that. I have linked them down below so that you can educate yourself, because I think it's important. Like, I can tell you these things, but seeing actual articles and that is so that you can educate yourself. Like, I was massively uneducated and had to go through and find all these things, and so I feel like a lot of people don't actually realize how bad it is. And as I said, more the stealing from people, especially considering the fact that we are creatives ourselves. Like, the fact that things are being stolen, we really should care about that kind of thing. Now, I do see the hypocriticalness of that in terms of the fact that obviously some of the stuff that I use and other creators use as B-roll in their videos of things that have been taken from other places, movies and such. And obviously, thumbnail-wise, yes, no, there is things that I search online to find the images to then edit to put into my thumbnail. So I do understand that, like, you say, oh, you're stealing when it comes to that. I do understand that. I will be getting better in terms of the fact that I will now be actually citing the sources of all the stuff that I use in terms of for thumbnails and for videos B-roll down in the description as well, so you can see the original sources of where they came from. But also, slightly different when it comes to that is the fact that obviously when it comes to taking ideas from films, from books and such like that, you've still paid the original creator in the ways of, like, obviously buying the film, buying the books. Even if you've watched it on a subscription service, they have been paid for their work, because part of the subscriptions go to paying for the material and whatnot that you're watching and such like that. So I am paying the creator and the people who have been a part of that still for seeing it and using their kind of work. And obviously you don't just use it directly, you do adapt it, which obviously you can say is what AI does and such like that. But AI just goes out there and searches even things that are hidden behind paywalls AI, if they've got like a certain algorithms and whatnot, can get past them and steal from that content as well. So that's the kind of ethical thing as well, is that obviously there's been no one who is actually a creative being paid for what you've stolen from them. Whereas when you're using ideas and concepts and that for like your sessions, or as I said, for videos and such like that, the creator, the people who were involved in that, have been paid in some way, whereas AI does not do that. And that is why, in my opinion, there is a distinction from that. But that's just my thoughts, and obviously this whole video is just my opinion on the situation. But what is your opinion when it comes to AI? Please let me know down in the comment section down below. Are you for it? Are you against it? Let me know down in the comment section down below. As well as if you enjoyed this video, I know that obviously this is not like my normal videos, it is more considerably more ranty than what I normally would do. I make Dungeons and Dragons content, so if you like that kind of thing, then please consider subscribing to the channel, because I make content every week. As I said, you can find links and whatnot to all the kind of things that I have mentioned, like article-wise and research-wise, down below in the description, so that you can check that stuff out for yourself if you want to try and educate yourself. I feel like also the most important thing is, like, not to go after people who are like using AI as like a thing, because maybe they just haven't educated themselves enough. Like maybe you can prompt them, but basically I'm not saying go on a witch hunt and like hunt these people down and such like that, because like maybe they're just misguided, or maybe even just playing into the rage bait for like views and such like that. So like I feel like we just have to come together as humanity and decide this is a terrible thing and we should leave it into the past and whatnot like that. Like but I feel like that is not going to happen, and that we might have to be a little bit more proactive with it. But anyway, I feel like it's very important and that people need to think about these things. There is also the Patreon. If you want to check that out, there are like free things that you can get on there. Just join as a free member. If you do want to join the paid tiers, thank you. You don't have to. There are free resources on there that go back to other videos that I've done in the past, as well as if you do want to support the channel financially, then please check out the Etsy store of Gaming Treasure Chest, where everything on there are things that I've designed myself and will 3D printed send to you. So there, if you want to get a gift for your Dungeon Master, a player at your table, they're all Dungeons and Dragons themed. So please check that out. And if you do want to spend some money, then consider doing so. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed your time here, and until next time, keep rolling.